I Think of You by Haruski Kiratsa on AO3. Summary. Hey, did you know when you dream of someone, it means that person misses you? If I had a single flower for every time I think about you, I could walk forever in my garden. Claudia Gandhi. Hey, did you know when you dream of someone, it means that person misses you? Shoto reluctantly peeled his eyes open, feeling a bit tiny of regret that the sensation had been interrupted. His hands creased in movement, where he was lazily running his fingers through the spiky yet surprisingly soft ash blonde hair as he peered at his face of his companion. His expression was untroubled and amlid, eyes closed, lips parted in a dainty manner, and if not for the continuous gesture of leisurely rubbing his foot from Shota's ankle, he would have believed the blonde was fast asleep. Really? Shota whispered lowly, and released his calmness the blonde was currently emitting. It was not every day that he had a peaceful conversation like this, in which not a single foul word could be heard from his lover's full sentence, so he would have to listen to his plain voice and savor every moment of it. The blonde hummed a little loudly that it vibrated through his chest, and Shoto thought his lover was far too gone from fatigue and exhaustion that came along with the 3 day and 2 night trip. Or perhaps it was just relaxed position he was currently situated in had him stammering instead of continuing the conversation he himself has started. Shoto was lying on his back at his personal favorite sofa, while half of Katsuki's body was draped over Shoto, enveloping him in a warm, comfortable snuggle. His lover's head was rested on his chest, as Shoto played with his hair and accompanied the brush of feet along with the added domesticity of their relationship. Katsuki released a soft buzz for a second time. He had something to say, it seemed. Shota waited for his lover to collect his thoughts to continue on berating him with the hanging topic. It was 4 times like this that he chose to stay in the confines of their apartment rather than making himself productive on the outside world. He would, without a doubt, prefer being idle and immovable if it meant being able to cuddle with his usually explosive and angered natured lover. What do you think? It was Shoto's turn to respond, pondering and properly giving attention to their chosen conversation. Maybe, he offered. He ought to give a more logical reply to him, something consistent and would make him sound interesting. But Shoto figured he was really too inactive to think, and his lover's body's warmth was making him sluggish and drowsy. I think it's true, Katsuki said, moving his head upwards and glancing at him. Shoto held his gaze as he listened to him. If two people have especially strong bonds, wouldn't it work that way? Shoto stared at him with curiosity. He was wondering what brought up this topic in the first place for the blonde to become competitive about it, but he didn't say anything. Katsuki averted his gaze. With a short sigh, he continued as though he read what Shoto was thinking. I fucking dream about you. The lone word caused the spell to break and his trance to shatter. The blonde's energy was regained, and he came back to himself, though he did nothing to move away from Shoto's grasp. In hindsight, his lover might be suggesting that Shoto missed him and wanted to see him in the 2 nights that they were separated, the reason why he appeared on Katsuki's dream. He was probably correct with the former, but with the dream thing, Shoto was not entirely convinced. Is that so? With his weak reaction, the blonde took it objectively and went to an apparently more impactful approach to get his desired acknowledgement. For you to invade my fucking dreams. Did you miss me that bloody much? Katsuki smirked, to try and hide his bashfulness and his underlying statement beneath his teasing. But Shoto knew him well. He knew where exactly the blonde wanted this advance and what exactly he wanted Shoto to say. Besides, if the blush glazing his lover's cheeks was not an indication of embarrassment, then he did not know where it was from. Well, yeah, I did miss you. I was thinking about you all the time, and you probably sensed it, Shoto stated, submissively, not at all ashamed to admit his feelings to his lover, because one, he was completely honest, and two, Katsuki's reaction to his declaration was almost amusing to watch. As expected, the blonde's face turned crimson, and if he focused heavily, there was a steam coming from him. He ducked his head lower to conceal his expression, but the arm encased Shoto's body stayed in place. He was murmuring and skewering incoherent words that, if pieced together, could be formed as conspirative, and something sounded like, "You're so embarrassing, you half and half bastard," and "I was only teasing you, goddammit." Shoto tightened his hold to his lover, cutting his escape route if he ever decided to get away from him because of too much mortification and self-consciousness. However, the blonde only struggled closer, intimately clinging to him and attaching himself even deeper to him. "Shoto," Katsuki mumbled. His tone was coated with affection, and he was practically purring to Shoto's in his embrace. Shoto pressed his lip to the blonde's head. He luxurious in the familiar scent of his own shampoo from his lover's hair, and took a pleasure of existing and within each presence of him. He was delighted to have him back in his arms like this, even though they only parted for a short period of time. He did not tell Katsuki that a person might be appearing in one's dream because the dreamer was consistently thinking about that person. He did not tell Katsuki was probably the one who was pining after him, resulting Shoto in appearing in his dreams. He did not tell him that perhaps it was Katsuki who was missing Shoto. The sun only rising and the city only about to get busy, but Shoto already had his day completed. If the event of his lover coming back home was not enough, then the exchange unremarkably made it perfect and impactful. He was in love and satisfied. Okay, so let me get this out of the way, but I read the author's note, and apparently this author hasn't watched nor read My Hero Academia. But I feel like they did a really good job with the knowledge they have without having to watch or read the main show. And that is amazing. I am impressed. I am impressed. I think this little one shot was a small one shot. I think it was adorable. I think it was cute. I really liked it. It was sweet. It was endearing. It was domestic, and that's not what you would think about when you think of Katsuki Bakugo. You don't think of domestic when you think of Katsuki Bakugo. You think explosions and anger and have I mentioned explosions? As always, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds, have a wonderful day or night. Join our community Discord server, link is in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.